campus of Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey, the GCEN presents high school football. Today, it's the Group 1 championship game as the Paulsboro Red Raiders take on the Salem Rams. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner Frank Delano. A beautiful afternoon for football, cold, crisp, windy, sun peeking in and out of clouds. Two football teams gearing up for the championship game, something they've worked for all year long. Interesting contrast in teams. These two teams actually faced each other 2 years ago. Paulsboro had their way with Salem 21-0 on a rainy afternoon. It's a new team, it's a new game. Salem boasts a tremendous runner who we'll talk about briefly. Glenn Howard, the dean of pretty much all coaches in South Jersey, against a relative neophyte in Montre Wright. A lot of interesting contrasts. First, let's talk about Salem. This is a football team that goes by the way of the run.
No doubt about it. And you talk about Salem, and they've come a long way in a short period of time. 2012, they were 0-10. And then steps in Coach Thomas, who's now at Millville, but then fast forward to the last 2 years, and Coach Wright being able to get 17 wins for his Rams over the last 2 years. And now today, hey, they're trying for their first title since 1983 when it was a Group 2 title against Hamilton High School. Present unique differences. Their style, they want to run the football, no doubt about it. Defensively, they live on turnovers. They've created 14 turnovers this year, and they've also returned a couple of them to the house. So it should be interesting.
It's going to be a treat today because this is going to be the first time I have an opportunity to see Jonathan Taylor. He has the record in the state of New Jersey in modern times for rushing yardage. Should be something special.
You know, it is, and it's funny because you and I talked about this. We're missing a 1,000-yard back in Zaire Jones, but when you're talking about the kid who's the best running back possibly in the country in Jonathan Taylor, he's something special. Over 2,600 yards, 33 touchdowns. I don't know what this kid can't really do. He can run around you. He can make a crease. He can take a 3-yard run, make it a 30-yard run. He can run around, or he can run right through you. It's going to be presents a ton of challenges today for the Red Raiders.
Paulsboro hosts just so much tradition. Glenn Howard and the rest of this coaching staff, a very tight group that have had so much success over the years. This year, no different. They were really on a roll, and they said, you know what? West Efford woke us up. They got smacked around pretty good last week. They're ready to roll today.
For all intents and purposes, this really should be called the Paulsboro Invitational, right? Because the playoffs have been going since 1974. It's 42 years. They've qualified for the postseason 36 times. That's staggering with 17 titles. So Coach Howard is no stranger in his 30th season to championship football, as their school today goes for their 18th title, and Coach Howard's 13th as well.
We've seen a lot of talent over the years from Paulsboro, able to run the football. Isaac Redmond, Kevin Harvey, they got another good one in Duron Holloway.
They do. Duron Holloway is a big time. He's a triple threat guy. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball, as well as big on special teams. He's got 3 special teams touchdowns this year, 2 kickoff returns as well as a punt return. So he's electrifying. You're talking about a 1,300-yard back, 19 touchdowns, has 27 catches. Hey, and again, let's circle back to special teams. In the championship games, windy day, special teams could be the difference.
Well, that's one area that Paulsboro has always had a strength in special teams. We'll see whether or not that's the case. A key Group 1 matchup, 2 exceptionally talented players head-to-head. We'll see them all afternoon. We're looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Stick around. We'll have the kickoff for you in just a moment. Welcome back to Rowan University, Richard Wacker Stadium here in Glassboro. Paulsboro taking on Salem, a rematch of 2 years ago. Paulsboro pasted Salem 21-0. It's a different team now, and Jonathan Taylor has more than demonstrated his ability to run the football.
That's a fact, and that's obviously that's a huge challenge for Paulsboro. I'm sure that's what kept Coach Howard up late nights this week, trying to figure out, making sure, how do you swarm to the ball, how do you maintain your gaps, how do you leverage the ball. It's going to have an interesting chess match here to see how Salem will try to create opportunities, besides if there's any different opportunities that they normally have, and also how Paulsboro's going to attempt to defend.
We had an opportunity to do the Wall-Delsey game prior to this one, and Delsey started slowly. Salem, the same thing. They started with 1-2 mark with losses to Glassboro and Pennsgrove, but they rallied to defeat Woodbury, even their mark at 2-2. And now they're on a 7-game win streak.
And in the 2 playoff games, they've won a combined 92-8. So they got it rolling right now.
So Paulsboro will kick it away, and we are underway here at Glassboro. Kick bounces and rolls out of bounds, and a penalty flag here, so Salem will have a choice of a re-kick or a spot.
And we'll re-kick.
So they've decided they're going to re-kick it, and again, both of these teams boast excellent skill position players, so not necessarily a surprise per se.
No, it's not. I think what's always interesting with Paulsboro, and you watch our kicker here, Dowd. He's got the old steel-toe shoe here, the square shoe going.
What did you call it? The iron toe?
The iron toe. It's like the old super jock. You hit the top of the head and watch the foot kick.
I love it.
If you remember those.
Again, we mentioned Paulsboro defeated Salem 21-0. That was in a downpour 2 years ago. Weather conditions ideal here outside of a considerable amount of wind. And Dowd will once again get iron toe in gear. And there it is. End-over-end kick taken at the 13-yard line. We're underway here at Rowan. A good return out to the 36-yard line. And first down and 10 for the Rams.
Nice return there by Zaire Jones. He's just an explosive back. And that's what we kind of made reference to in the beginning of the broadcast, where you're talking about Zaire Jones is almost a 1,000-yard back too. On most high school teams, he'd be the spotlight. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the Salem Rams, and that's why they're here. You have Jonathan Taylor, Wisconsin-bound running back.
Zaire Jones will certainly be the feature back next year. Had a nice season last year at Woodstown, came back to Salem and finds himself in the Group 1 championship game. First down and 10, and right from the get-go, you can see the explosiveness of Jonathan Taylor.
It's going to be a challenge. He's averaging 13.9 yards a carry. Every time he gets the ball, he's averaging a first down. That's a huge challenge today. See how they're going to get enough guys in the box yet respect the pass game.
Again, South Jersey rushing record and the modern era state record in rushing yards. Just an unbelievable career for Taylor. The handoff once again, he kicks it outside. Taylor down the sidelines, and he'll have more than enough for the first down. At first blush, I'm just struck by that speed.
Yes, no doubt. That's why he's going to Wisconsin. He's got a different gear. You think you have him bottled up, and boom, he gets himself to the edge. First 2 plays, they've been attacking the defensive left of the Paulsboro D and trying to attack number 34 there, who have playing 86 there, Marina.
First and 10, already in Paulsboro territory. The Rams moving the football successfully. Here's the jet sweep. And Jones cuts it back inside. Jones still on his feet, cut down at about the 40-yard line. And again, the coaching staff of Paulsboro said, we know what we're dealing with Taylor, but Jones kind of makes us a little bit nervous as well, because I'm not sure that the kids understand just how talented he is.
He can make people miss. We've played him, when he was at Woodstown, and he's a talented back. He's got really good vision, and he can, as you saw there, Joey Perez made a really nice play filling that alley, and he just bounced around him.
Second down, we'll call it 2. And the handoff, Taylor cuts it outside, and a tremendous tackle. And that's the type of effort they're going to need today from Paulsboro. Perez, they could not say enough things about that young man on the Paulsboro sidelines. What a leader he is. And here, look at this tremendous play by Perez.
Oh, it's great. He feels that and Taylor had a 2-way go there. Inside, outside, he did a really nice job securing the tackle.
First and 10, Salem moving the ball well. Taylor and pitches the ball back, and seemed like a good idea at the time. I think they'd like to have that back.
That was a tremendous play by Quarles there, who's a big-time defensive end for Paulsboro. He's got almost 90 tackles on the season. You got to get this guy before he gets going. I'm not real sure about the pitch and why that exactly happened, but if you take a peek here, completely unblocked, and as he's going down, just decides to lateral it to his buddy and see if he can make it. Here, now it's your problem. I did all I could, and let's see what we can do. So, it's a big loss on the play, and let's see how Salem bounces back.
So you have Arshawn Witherspoon, the freshman at quarterback. No sign of Clear right. And here's Taylor. Clear Street, I should say. So that's a bit of a surprise here. There was no mention when we spoke to the coaching staff. They had both Cheeks and Street as quarterbacks, and now you have a freshman.
And let's focus in on this play, and that's another tremendous open field tackle by Joey Perez. He's a wrestler.
Yep.
He's a wrestler. There it was, right there. There was two for a takedown.
Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment, but Perez, they have said he is the leader of this team. He gets everybody focused, geared up, he's vocal, and we've seen it already here on display early. Third down. And the pitch. Taylor, it's behind him. Taylor picks it up, but he's slowed down at the 45-yard line.
Tremendous tackle, open field tackle by Holloway again. That's one of those scary plays. You're looking to get option. 86 there, Marina does a nice job kind of taking away Taylor initially. Then he tries a downfield pitch. Holloway right there to make sure that thing didn't spiral into a big play.
So 4th down and 17 now. Salem was making it look so easy, and Paulsboro's defense has stepped up in a big way. So Salem, with some personnel problems, looks like they're going to have to call a timeout. So again, Frank, surprised here. You talk about Cheeks and Street typically underneath center. Now you have a freshman in the most important game of
Rob, we definitely got to look into that one. Maybe the kid forgot his shirt, and poor freshman now sitting there without his shirt on the sidelines. But yeah, you're right. This is a freshman now. I'm sure Coach Wright is trying to address some issues here, not necessarily with the Hughes now is on the sidelines. But you were rolling, and now Coach Wright here, in his second season, as you can see there, he's 17-5, and has his Rams in a Group 1 hunt here.
Now, last week, Paulsboro, they played West Efford, and West Efford scored 55 points against them. The Eagles had 519 yards. And again, the coaching staff said that has woken us up. There you see Glenn Howard in his 30th season, 3rd overall in victories. And again, Glenn Howard, one of the true brilliant minds in high school football.
No doubt. Has been God in this program since 1986.
Salem will punt it away, and it will bounce at about the 29-yard line. And 1st down and 10 for Paulsboro. Special teams not a strength of the Salem team. They have not even attempted a point after this year.
No, and when you're kidding, you're always chasing the score and going for 2. I guess it does help. When again, you have a big back like the tandem of Zaire Jones as well as Taylor to try to get 3 yards on a PAT. But that could be big because obviously Paulsboro does have a kick game.
Well, now we'll have an opportunity to see that young man, Kyle Jones. A lot of people talk about Holloway as we did in the open, but Jones is a force himself. And here's Holloway, and he picks up a nice chunk, about 7 or 8 yards.
Great 1st down play, little outside zone to the tight end wing side again. Going to kind of putting strength of the formation to the boundary. What we want to keep an eye on, Rob, here is the tempo in which Paulsboro moves at today.
Holloway over 1,000 yards on the season. And Holloway again, look at that little burst. Tremendous speed. Not a lot of size from Holloway, but in many ways that works to his advantage.
It does. It's kind of like the Darren Sproles theory. You can't really see him behind the line, but he has tremendous vision, and he's really, really a tough back. Staying in the same formation, moving at a fast pace here.
Holloway again. Holloway. And the ball is down, it's loose, and it's Salem's football. Holloway had a little crease, and as he went down, he must have lost the football. From our angle, we had players kind of covering our view. And a big turnover here early for the Rams.
That is big. Turnovers are always critical. And when you ran the same formation 3 straight plays, now all those fans that just got here from Salem, they're pretty excited now, but with great field position. And they started out the drive was so promising. And now you take a peek here. You get that ball might have popped out early. Big play there for the Rams.
First down and 10, Taylor. And always on his front foot, pushing forward about a gain of 5 or 6. Good view from our replay. Holloway definitely he definitely lost the football on his way down.
Yes, no doubt about that. And now we got Salem right back in control of this field position. Even if they're forced to punt, or this down, it's probably a 2-down territory already for Salem. But they've won the field possession battle.
Weatherspoon hands it to Taylor. Taylor, big push, and he has enough for the first down.
Had a chance to watch Taylor, again, right before we're prepping for Hatton Heights on Thanksgiving, and his back he's explosive. Again, there was a safety to that for Heights, had them all lined up. He decided, no, I'm not going to run around you, I'm going to run right through you.
First and 10. Perez already with at least 3 tackles here, over 100 on the season. Taylor trying to break through, and look at Joey Perez. He has been an absolute force all quarter long.
Yeah, no doubt. You can tell clearly he's got a game plan on how he's going. He does. He's bringing his A game early here, and the backside pressure there as well. On the backside 10, Quarles tries to kind of just give him a leg swipe. They're not going high on this guy, but again, gang tackle, leverage the football, maintaining gap control. You have to stay disciplined and try to get him going, stop before he gets going.
Second down and 10. Working out of the pistol, it's Weatherspoon with Taylor. Trips left. Taylor, no, the fake, it's Weatherspoon. Towards the end zone, Weatherspoon. And he's knocked out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. So the change of pace, confusing Paulsboro and resulting in a huge pickup.
It's a nice misdirection play, all focus and all eyes are going to be on Taylor. But if you look at 66, great kick-out block there on Quarles, and now that paves the way for Weatherspoon to go down the sidelines and put the Rams in a great spot.
Gain of about 31 yards on the play, first down and 10, and this is where it's so tough to stop Taylor.
I don't think there's a surprise who's going to get this one.
Taylor gets the football, drives forward, and Paulsboro holds.
He met 6 guys. We found the formula, right? Get 6 guys at the point of attack, and maybe we're all right.
Gain of 1 on the play, second and goal from the 2.
Second down and goal. Clock continues to move here. Ball spotted at the 2-yard line. 3 receivers set for Weatherspoon with Taylor in the backfield. It's Taylor, and Taylor is in. Touchdown.
And they brought in the lead back there to get him a little. They were going single back there, which is kind of tough when Paulsboro's going to pile in the box there. Bring an extra back in, create a number advantage, and you're giving your best back to one of the best backs in the country the ball. Come from the 2-yard line. Remember now, no kicker. They haven't even attempted a PAT.
Yep.
So, a couple weeks ago against Heights, they liked option down here, and they like to spread everybody out and say 2 by 2, and then try to create just a little bit of a mismatch here. Going right back to that two back set.
Twins split right. And Taylor, off tackle. Taylor is held.
That was the same exact play. Same exact play. Sometimes you don't get mulligans. You don't get redos. And maybe Paulsboro was just out of their gap assignment. Maybe they weren't aligned to the set properly. And if you take a look here again, 66 tries to kick out. Oh, that's the touchdown. It was a beautiful kick out block and paved the way nicely.
Well, Salem strikes first. Again, special teams always a factor. And Paulsboro's prided themselves on a tremendous tradition in the kicking game. Dom Antonini has what he calls the Breakfast Club, and every year he has kids come in the mornings and they work on kicking. And so many times, Frank, in Group 1 programs, there's just no kicking game, but that has never been the case here.
Never. I've been at Haddonfield now 19 years. 4 as an assistant. 15.
You're old.
I am, partner. But I've never ever saw a year that they didn't have a kicker. I've never seen a year. It's something. It's a huge asset. When you have a punter, you have a kicker, you have someone reliable. That extra point is critical in games.
Nick Galante will kick off for Salem. We saw from their punter, their punt was maybe 20 yards on the year. He's averaging 21 yards. Again, that's when you're facing a team the caliber of Paulsboro, that's going to make a difference throughout the game. We'll see how things evolve. Galante to kick it away, and you can see the up man all the way up at the 20-yard line for Paulsboro. The line drive kick is angled towards the sideline, taken at the 17. Back across the 30, and still on his feet across midfield. We talk about special teams and the importance of them, and there you see it right on cue. Deron Holloway is just so dynamic.
That's exactly what we talked about in the opener. He's got 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year. You give him that ball, he fields the ball basically at the 20-yard line. Nice. Number 4 just gets in his way, makes one guy miss, the kicker miss, spin move, hits himself across midfield. Now Paulsboro's in great field position. Remember, Salem didn't stop Paulsboro. Paulsboro stopped themselves last time.
Hand off Holloway. Finds a crease, and he's hit at the 45-yard line. A pickup of about 3. 2nd and 7. Holloway in the backfield. Kyle Jones. To Holloway. Quick little burst at the 40. Both of these backs, both Holloway and Taylor, so explosive, so fast.
Oh, no doubt. You give them a little crease and they could go. So this is a game. It's an interesting game. So I think every snap, you're first and goal. These guys can take it the distance from no matter where they are on the field.
2 receivers set for Jones with Holloway. Now they're going to audible. Looks like they tried to draw Salem off sides. Looks over, gets the call, does Jones. And Holloway kicks it outside, and he is not going to get there. Some outstanding pursuit from the backside. Justice has been a man on fire this year. Just an unbelievable physical presence. 141 tackles coming into the game, and he is a force to be reckoned with.
That's a great play here. As you see, also we want to take a look at that interior lineman there, number 54, Moore. He got great push, which bounced the whole thing out, which allowed Justice to get there. Really nice job there by that D tackle for Salem.
So Paulsboro will punt it away on their second possession. An EFIS snap, and that ball finds its way in the end zone.
Nice little baseball reference there, my friend, but it absolutely was very good, very well described.
And a lot of air underneath it.
Sure did.
Well, again, just those 2 punts alone, you see the difference between the kicking game of the 2 teams.
Right. And now you're going to force Salem to try to go 80, which, remember, they're first and goal. So, but this is a more favorable position to be in when you're making a team drive 80, as opposed to giving the ball on the 45-yard line like they did last drive.
Jonathan Taylor, we did not mention, the fastest player in the state of New Jersey, ran the 110.1 seconds, winner of the Meet of Champions. And New Jersey is known for its track stars, trust me.
Yes, they are. That's a real nice play there by inside linebacker to sophomore number 34, Anthony Marina. He has 117 tackles from that inside backer spot in Paulsboro's 50D.
He also has forced a fumble, recovered a fumble on the year, and Paulsboro lives off of creating turnovers. We'll see whether or not that comes to fruition today. Second down, we'll call it 5. Weatherspoon with Taylor. 4 receiver set, twins split both left and right. Taylor right up the gut. Taylor about 3.
You had the tandem there of Marina there, as well as number 6 for Paulsboro, Bryce Holloway in there trying to bring that monster down. He's a big boy.
Third down and 2. We've seen that Weatherspoon can be a force as well. Same set here for the Rams. Taylor cut down in the backfield.
Huge play. And I'll tell you, that's the thing that Sharon Quarles has made this play all year long. I've had a chance to watch him on tape. On the backside, he is, and then also throw in Santino Marina on that play. But he loves the play chase, number 10. And he plays on the backside. I've watched him on tape. We've watched him live against us. He makes a ton of plays from the back. You have to account for that backside end when you're playing Paulsboro.
Holloway back to receive the punt. We talked about the difference in terms of the punt game. Holloway is lined up at the 50-yard line, and I think they'll be hard-pressed to get it there. Snapping out of the 25, average on the year just 21 yards. Good snap, and the kick, as I mentioned, is not going very far. It bounces at the 30-yard line and is down at the 26, so it was a 1-yard punt.
That's our second 1-yard punt of the game of the day. But if you take a look at the flag right now, it's probably the worst time ever to be punting a football. And it was very similar. We were in a similar situation when we played here against Woodstown. We couldn't punt the ball. It was almost you're better off going because it's something to get that gust of wind coming in, same direction, almost the same result. But that's 2 times in a day within the last hour. Basically, we've seen 2 1-yard punts. Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. In the championship, no less. First and 10. Paulsboro. 3 receiver set for Jones and Holloway. Jones gives to Holloway. A power forward for a couple.
Paulsboro is just trying to establish the run game, and I think clearly you're trying to watch him limit possessions. Because Kyle Jones is a young man who can extend plays. He's dangerous with the arm. At some point here, they're going to have to test these corners.
Holloway again runs and tries to squeeze his way through, maybe a yard or 2. Are you surprised that we haven't seen Jones throw the football yet?
A little bit. I thought you'd try to, they've been really good at getting the ball out of his hands, 3-step, how you want to design your offense. And Coach Howard here is trying, and it's a good timeout because he's trying to play the win.
Yep.
Because third down and 5, 3rd and 6, if you're going to throw the ball, I'd rather do it here.
These are the little things, again, as a coach, and I know, you probably feel the same way. There's just so many nuances of the game that I really pick up on. And one thing that so many coaches, even on the professional level, are not very adept at is using the clock, using the field conditions. Glenn Howard is an expert at both.
This is what keeps you up late at night. And I don't know what Coach Howard's thought of this, but and I'll let you could comment yourself. I get more nervous as a coach than I ever did as a player, because there's situations like this. Are we managing the game correctly?
You're not just worrying about yourself anymore.
Correct. I'm not worrying about just what you tell me to do. I got to worry about making sure, and our staff, we have to make sure we're making the right calls and adjustments and stuff like that. Are we punting? Should we go for it? Is it 4 down? But now, given our guys a situation here, I would expect to throw here. It's maybe slants 11. Look at him in the slot as a slot receiver.
3rd down. Jones, 3-step drop. Now bides time, pulls back again, throws it up, and no one home.
Tried to extend that play. 11 is wide open. He is absolutely, when he sees it on tape, he's going to be, that's a Harbison right there. He came on a little crossing route. He got lost a little bit. His eyes probably went down to the rush, and didn't see him completely downfield.
Harbison's a nice little player, a converted soccer player, and that will do it for the first quarter. Salem takes the lead over Paulsboro here on the GCN's Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week, Group 1 Championship, second quarter in just a moment. Welcome back to Rowan University. Fourth down here for Paulsboro. Because it is now the second quarter, they switch sides. Really, a field goal is out of the question because of the wind that we talked about before. So forced to go for it on fourth down. Jet sweep here. Red Raiders finds a seam and spins, flies, first down. Tremendous run there as Paulsboro's number 4, Emmanuel Simon, finds the seam and comes up with a huge play.
He does. It went on, again, a little bit of an unbalanced formation, and they're trying to use their speed and get them to this field. They broke out of the huddle extremely fast. They tried to tempo them so Salem couldn't make the proper adjustment. May have gotten away with some illegal motion. I don't know if everybody was set. The officials didn't see it, and that's great for Paulsboro and Raider Nation. And
it's only a penalty if they see it, right?
Correct, but it was really well designed, well executed, especially out of the natural timeout of the quarter.
So ball spotted at the 11-yard line, and a timeout called here by Salem. So again, it's been an interesting game because as soon as you think one team has momentum, it seems like the other team just snatches it back.
Correct. One was on the fumble, of Paulsboro's own, and then the punt.
Yep.
So and sometimes you just can't predict these things. You can't predict fumbles, and you can't predict whether in the gust of wind it comes right in the middle of your punt. So it's.
So let me ask you a question here, Frank. Let's say you're coaching Salem. You're a Group 1 school that you don't. Your kicking game looks like it's going to be a problem. Do you just abandon it, which they've done, or do you try to come up with solutions?
Well, you try to come up with solutions, but then also as a play caller, if I know I have 4 downs, it's a totally different mindset. So again, you might be able to think creatively, a little different out of the box, where we're in 4-down territory no matter what. We don't have a punter. We don't have a kicker. Say some of those guys that subscribe to the theory of never kicking it deep, always onside it.
Okay. Jones hands it off to Holloway, and Holloway cuts it back inside for a gain of 2 or 3. Again, just that quickness, that elusiveness, and that diminutive size. When you have the big boys in front blocking them, it just makes it so tough, but by the time you find him, he's by you.
Oh, it does, and Paulsboro is very big up front with, Glocker, a 250-pound tackle, Frank's a 260-pound tackle. Their 2 tackles are big as, any Group 4 school or Grade 5 school you might see this weekend.
Second down. Jones keeps. Jones right up the gut, spins off a tackle. Touchdown!
That was a great power. It's a power read. It's a gap scheme play, reading the play side defensive end. He plays out. We're going to keep it ducked underneath him. He plays down. We're going to give jet sweep. And Kyle Jones, again, as good as athlete as anybody on this field as well. With that ability to extend plays in the pass game, but that's also now, he has 493 yards rushing, and that now is his 6th touchdown of the season as well. And here is the PAT, Rob, that we've been talking about so far the whole first quarter and minute and 3 into the second.
Ricky Wolf 7 for 7 in the playoffs, and he's looking to take the lead here for Paulsboro. His kick is up, and his kick is plenty good.
The significance of a kicker.
Yep.
We joke around, kickers are people too. And when you're fortunate enough to have a kicker that's good, it can directionally kick. Let's take a look back now here. It's exactly what it is. It's a power read scheme. 54 got over the top of it, and 52 also played over top. Jones was able to stick his foot in the ground, get north, which is critical, and find his way into the end zone. Great job, great play call, good play design, and that's why, now Paulsboro's holding a 1-point lead, a minute and 3 in the second quarter.
Getting back to what you said, Ricky Wolf is 225 pounds, and when you see him as a kicker, you go, where else does he play? He doesn't play anywhere else, and they've been trying to get him to play other positions to become a person, as you would say.
No. You know, he's going to be the biggest guy. He'd never see a K on his jacket. Him and Sebastian Janikowski are going to hang out. We got to introduce the two to get them to know each other a little bit.
That's hilarious.
He's a nice sized youngster. And now here we go. The kicking toes back.
Zaire down. Kicking into the wind. And you can see a knuckleball taken at the 28-yard line. And gain of about 9 yards or so. Ray Bentley able to run it back. And Salem will start in good field position. I think that kick more than anything else really indicated the strength of the wind.
That is not worst case scenario. You think about
we saw that from the punter earlier.
we did. Because that's probably best case scenario, especially when you're talking about a kickoff into the wind.
Yep.
With the electrifying guys you got back deep, Jones and Taylor, who are both, again, can take this thing to the house. Give them the ball to the 36-yard line. It's okay. Put this back in your defense's hands.
4 receiver set, trips left for Salem. And they go right back to Taylor. Taylor finds a seam. Taylor runs one man over. He's got a couple more to beat. Cuts it back inside, still on his feet. And now driving over man after man down to the 20-yard line.
That is a tremendous. They're just running a little kick-out play, a little trap here, and they trap Quarles, who tried to take it in one with his inside shoulder, and he ended up creating a gigantic crease in there. If you take a look at it here, where you watch 66 come, 10's trying to kick it, trying to use his inside shoulder there, but there isn't any support because of the formation being 3-by-1. So again, it's just a good job of utilizing formations and attacking some open spots there and some seams in his D.
And of course, who stopped him? Joey Perez. He's been everywhere today. First down and 10. Again, this time it's Jones. Jones still on his feet. Jones, touchdown! Second and third effort by Zaire Jones results in a touchdown, and Salem answers right back.
We're in for a shootout here, Rob. That would be fun. Right? That's just a nice little play. It's that change of pace. It's the thump and bump, so to speak. Got lightning and thunder, where Taylor just ran over the whole, basically, the defense, and now he just gashes them and finds himself into the end zone. Great job, great run there for Zaire Jones.
Well, they'll go for 2 here, and this is critical. Handoff, Taylor, right up the gut. Taylor, no good. Shy of the end line, and it's 12-7.
Again, we circle back. Taylor's got 12 two-point conversions. Let's take a look here. See that? Paulsboro kind of has that pretty well defended. They just out-leveraged their gap a little bit. Got sealed inside. Zaire punctures the D, and he ends up with a 19-yard touchdown.
There you see number 6, Nate States, clapping his hands. Tremendous blocking from States. And there you see Taylor just short of the goal line.
And they're trying to kick out. They're trying to kick out the end man on that line of scrimmage. This time he attacks it with violence. He didn't catch the block. He attacked that. You can't create space in there, especially when you see a down block by your tackle. You got to squeeze that thing to minimize space in there. Once you sit there and you play out and you turn and square your shoulders, you're creating a gigantic crease.
Well, Salem now will kick with the wind. And Nick Galante to kick it away.
Galante in to kick.
Galante, another 33-yard line, a return of 7 to the 40, first down and 10. Paulsboro will work against the wind, trailing 12-7. What surprised you so far?
I think it's kind of advertised right now. Really good backs on both sides, and the early turnover from Paulsboro, because that's not characteristic of Paulsboro to turn that ball over. But it's so far I think this game is right as advertised. We could be right down to the wire here.
10-12 left in this first half. Jones gives to Holloway, and he's stopped immediately. Loss of 2 or 3.
It's a real nice play by Zaire Eason there. They're trying to run a little misdirection counter back to the same side. It just takes a long time for that to develop. and I don't care. And Holloway's a fast back. You got to try to see with patience. He's starting to make himself go to the right. And you look conversely what number 54 did. He's having a pretty good first half here. Savon Moore, the sophomore for Salem, he condensed it. He actually made that where it condensed the space, and there was nowhere for Holloway to put his feet.
Salem may be the only team in the country with 2 players named Zaire. And both of them have played exceptionally well already. My next child may be named Zaire.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good athletes, no doubt about it.
3rd down and long.
That was Nate States making a nice play on a bubble screen out there.
Pediccio on the reception. States makes the stop. Gain of 1 on the play, 3rd and 12.
All right, now this is 3rd down. You got to remember they're going to punt into the wind. So hopefully, for Paulsboro's sake, they can pick up this first down here.
Jones, 3-step drop. Now, looks to create. Jones, good block here, throws, and it's into the wind, and it's almost picked off. You know, that's a case where Jones has a good arm, but again, the wind just holds that football up and allows the secondary to come onto it.
Yeah, no, again, here he is. This is his number 1 asset, his escapability, right? So he's sitting there, he's looking, he's trying to get himself out. Big,
good
nice
block.
little block there to free him up. Again, we don't see it on this, but 23 was sitting over the ball, and when you're in the middle, you're looking down, all these bullets are flying all around you. It's hard to maintain your eyes downfield, but he was going for the home run, or maybe there was a better choice on the crossing route underneath.
We mentioned before how much of a role the wind had played in Salem's punt. Paulsboro will punt it into the wind, and you can see it just kind of being held right there, and rolls out just inside the 40-yard line.
39-yard line,
1st and 10. Not a bad punt given the conditions.
No, it's not. And no return. The conditions are making this really challenging. It's almost like playing in a monsoon, like they played in before. But wind it's crazy because if you don't get your trajectory right, it's a tough thing to actually navigate through. Quarterbacks, want to grip the ball tighter. They want to do it, try to throw it harder, and then you got yourself mechanically, you might be flawed.
Taylor again behind Weatherspoon. 1st down and 10 at the 39-yard line, and it's Taylor. And he stopped after 2 or 3.
One thing is interesting is they really do seem to be attacking Quarles. I misspoke earlier in the game when they're attacking that right side or defensive left of Paulsboro. It was not Marina over there, it was Quarles. They keep attacking that side and running that same trap where number 66, Furbush, is just trying to kick him out and create that seam.
2nd and 8. And this time, Taylor is met in the backfield.
Initial hit by Bryce Holloway.
Loss of 1, 3rd down and 9.
Great job of recognizing that play by Holloway, who again, it's the kid who has 134 tackles on the season. He comes right on through, right, big play, and again on the back side of that, you see Quarles again trying to make some, just finish it off. You cannot sit there and loaf to the ball. Everybody's got to swarm. I'm assuming Coach Howard all week said you got to get to the ball, make sure 11 hats are there before the camera goes off.
3rd and 9. 4 receivers set with Taylor in the backfield. This is not a team that throws the ball well. Weatherspoon is a freshman. Rocket screen with some space, and Jones is knocked out of bounds. They'll be shy of the 1st down, but not a bad play. Now a decision.
It's a nice little bubble screen. Get the ball in the Bentley's hands, who's a playmaker out there, and see if you can pick up the 9. Well, you're going 4th and 1 here with your kick game and one of the best backs in the country.
I agree. I know where you're going. Go for it. And Salem Paulsboro has to go into blistering wind. Taylor. And he has more than enough. 1st down.
And when you have a back that's averaging 13.9 a touch, you need one, have at it. But it's an aggressive mindset because it backfires there too. You know, it's not always on your back. You know, your line's got to be perfect. The snap in this case, because they're in pistol, has to be good. It's clearly Salem is playing this. You got to play this game to win the game. You don't play this thing to be close, to hang in there, play not to lose. They're attacking and they're playing this thing to win a title.
1st and 10. Here's Jones. Jones with a lot of room. Jones angling towards the corner. Jones on his way. Touchdown. And now they're saying that he's out of bounds. Well, Jones looked like he had the space, but just stepped out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
And that's what's so, all your attention, and you're looking at it at the point of attack. It's a great perimeter run play. Zaire's, and once he gets an open space, good luck trying to catch him. This guy can fly, and we know firsthand, he's now over 1,000 yards, came into the game with 974, so he's another 1,000-yard back for Salem, 2-back set. Expect Zaire to finish this thing off.
And who knocked him out? Joey Perez.
And there's your Perez guy. Again, he's been all over the field.
Again, Joey Perez is 5'7", 155 pounds, and he's dominating this football game.
He is, and you see it right there on tape. You see it right there on tape. You know, in that replay, Perez right there, 2-yard line, making a big stop. These are big snaps here.
And it looks like we have a procedure here against Salem.
We need a procedure on Salem. Over a 5-yard penalty will bring the ball back to the 7.
Second down and goal now from the 7-yard line. And again, these penalties are so critical for teams that rely on the run.
It is. It definitely is. You know, the good thing is for the Salem, they have 2 down. You know, it's only 2nd down. And you're probably, again, you're a 4-down territory. They don't have a kicker. So you have 3 downs to get this thing in.
Salem has 2 receivers split to the left and only 1 guy covering them. They're going to hand the ball off anyway, right up the gut, and it's going to be Taylor. And touchdown! Well, Salem had a wide receiver uncovered. They didn't need him.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just give it to this guy and let him go. And let's give credit to Salem's offensive line here. You know, with Thompson, Furbush, Galante, Standback, as well as Eason. They're doing a really, really good job right now trying to pave these holes for these backs.
Same thing. Only 1 man covering 2 wide receivers on the left. Weatherspoon hands off to Taylor, and Taylor is in. Well, Paulsboro has an additional man defensively, and Taylor on 2 consecutive plays able to find a way.
It's a matchup problem right now. You know, again, you're just trying to. You only have 3 yards to defend, so you have to make a decision here. What am I going to do? And look at. That's a great block there by 66.
And Joey Perez tackled him again.
Yeah, Furbush did a really nice job there, paving the way. Guys, Rob, you asked me about 3 minutes ago, what are you really surprised? Salem's offensive line is doing a great job. They really are. Not necessarily surprised, but you're trying to get, trying to watch this thing as it progresses. They're starting to impose their will a little bit.
5:36 left in this first half. And the wind as strong as ever. And I think the wind really favors Salem in the sense that they don't really have a passing game, and Paulsboro is kind of limited to a one-way passing game, essentially, at least trying to throw the ball deep. Galante will kick it away. And it's a low squib kick taken at the 18-yard line. Holloway, actually it's Simon who is knocked down at the 35.
Big possession here for the Red Raiders. They can drive one, they put a drive together here. It's 5:29 left. They get the ball back to start the half, then you're back in business. If you go 3 and out, got a punt with this win, and conversely let Salem maybe punch one in, and then you take a peek at it and see how significant this win is playing. Then all of a sudden, maybe this mountain could be a little bit too big to overcome starting the second half. It's a big possession here for Paulsboro.
First down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Holloway. And not a whole lot there.
We're looking at the clock here, 5:20 and 10. These games go so fast when you're not coaching. You're like, wow. You're looking, you're like, wow, this first half's almost over. It's crazy how this thing happens. But now they went back to their, if you remember the first 3 plays, they ran that same exact thing. Outside zone to the boundary, to the tight end wing. Had success, not so much on that play.
Holloway throws the screen to Jones to Holloway, and it's Holloway who leans forward to about the 42-yard line. Even that pass, you kind of got a sense of the fluttering of the football, just how much of an impact that wind is.
Oh, that's a true statement. And if you look, that's Furbush out there making a play on that. That's a defensive end. Salem's got speed throughout their lineup. I know a lot of focus here has been on Taylor, has been on Jones, but these guys fly around and make plays.
Furbush, one of the vocal leaders of that team. Salem now on third down. Jones eludes one tackler, still on his feet. Across midfield, look at Jones go. Jones just makes so much out of so little, and that's the type of play that electrifies the crowd and electrifies his teammates.
It does, and if you look at this thing, you look at this play, again, sure, it's going to break down. He's going to step up and climb to the pocket nicely. Good ball security there. Look at his eyes. He's not worrying about that guy on his leg. He's worrying about the next move, setting him up. And that's what the great ones do. They don't worry about the first level defense. They're worrying about the second.
First and 10, Paulsboro at the 42-yard line. 4:29 and counting. First half. Group 1 championship game. Jones keeps. Jones. And it looks like we have a penalty.
Face mask there. Whether it's going to be a 5-yard or a personal foul. Little cue draw in there. Try to continue to get Jones going in this game. Personal foul.
Now that'll be a big boost to Paulsboro.
Big third down conversion. Here you go. Take a look. They got a little draw going in there, and that's 54. Savon Moore, we called multiple times already for positive plays. Unfortunately, got his hand caught up into the face mask of Jones.
Ball spotted at the 24-yard line. First and 10 for the Red Raiders as we approach the 4-minute mark remaining in this first half. Jones again keeps the football. Jones finds a seam and exploits it.
Nothing fancy there. That's just Q run game there. There's not a read. It's not an RPO. It's I'm taking the ball and I'm going a little Q ISO there.
RPO?
Unpass option. I'm sorry, my friend. A lot of things now, especially in this spread offense, when you're talking about RPOs, you're looking at defenses. If this guy does this, then we're throwing. If he's a line pre-snap alignment, we're throwing this. Or we're running the ball, counting the box, seeing what you have. And Paulsboro has been doing that since 14 when they've gone to the spread. Because there was years where you would just see pro-I, option football. Not so much now.
Second down, Jones fakes to Holloway, cuts it outside, now back in. Look at Jones create.
Yeah.
You look at that run, and when it's all said and done, you said, I'm not real impressed. I tell you, I'm real impressed because that's a 2-yard loss turned into a 2-yard gain, and now all of a sudden on third down, you've got it, a very makeable third down as opposed to a situation where you have to start making decisions.
That's a true statement. And now it just sets you out, you're right, 3rd and 2. Paulsboro's 0 for 3 on third downs right now. They need this conversion. And again, with the win, this could be 2-down territory.
Now we'll see whether they go RPO here.
Like it, Rob. We'll make you a football guy yet.
Third down. Jones keeps, seals the outside, and I tell you, it looked like we could have had a holding penalty there, but nothing called.
Harbison, I think, may have gotten away with one there, but let's look at, this is Jones getting the first down. Right here, yeah. He may have him locked up a little bit there. You know, wrestling season starts Monday for him. You know, I'm just, you know, but obviously we know the Paulsboro wrestling program and the history there. But again, that is a huge first down. Now you're inside the red zone. You're on the 15-yard line. You need points.
Well, you mentioned the Paulsboro wrestling program, just a true treasure in the town of Paulsboro, and coaching staff of the Red Raiders football team said we benefit so much from that wrestling program, and we've seen it with Joey Perez today. Just the ferocity, his competitiveness, and so many elements of wrestling really transfer over to football. Holloway up the middle, Holloway on his feet, touchdown!
It's a little inside trap there. They balanced the defense up, put them in a fit. Put two tight ends in, inside trap, and he's going to puncture the D and find himself in the end zone. Great play call, great run, good finish there.
20-13, Paulsboro will bring out Ricky Wolf to attempt the point after. Make it a 6-point game with 2:23 left. Wolf's kick is up, and he shanks it. You almost get a sense that he felt the pressure there of the oncoming rush of Salem.
He did. Now, if you go back to this, look at that. It's a great kick-out block right there by number 52, Justin Blair. Pays the way. Great finish. Got a little Heisman finish there in the end zone. Possibly a little 15 there. But
yeah, and there's no Heisman in high school.
No, there's not. There's not.
He's got to come up with something else.
He does. But now, if you ever look back at it, right, they got the ball, about 5-20-something. They scored too fast. They scored too fast because now you got to sit there and deal with the Salem offense, who, quite frankly, has pretty much had their way here in the first half.
So, you know, you're Glenn Howard. What are you saying to your troops to shut down the run of Jones and Taylor?
You got to look schematically. You got to rely on your coaches up here in the box and sit there and say, are we sound?
Mm-hmm.
Or, what are we doing?
Right.
Are we chasing ghosts? Are we defending something that they're not doing? Are you so caught up into trying to defend their 4 wide receivers? And they're not really throwing the football. They threw a bubble screen. Mm-hmm. That's it. They've not attacked the field vertically. So you might have to just question how we're going to address this. Hopefully they can go in the locker room 20-13 and make some adjustments if needed.
High kick, and it'll be taken at the 15-yard line across the 25 and brought down at the 37. Little surprised that they did not squib that kick.
You and me both. I am, but maybe they tried and it just got held up. You have no idea, but you're giving again very explosive backs another opportunity with the ball.
37-yard line, 1st and 10. Salem on top of Paulsboro, 20-13 here. 2:18 remaining, first half. Group 1 championship game from Rowan University. Rob Christ along with Frank Delano. It's been a good one thus far. Weatherspoon again hands to Taylor, and Taylor cuts it back outside. This is where he's dangerous. It's Holloway slows Taylor down. Tremendous play by Holloway.
How about him? That is a tremendous open field tackle. You got a back here that's 230-some pounds against a kid who's not. We'll just say it that way. He's a little guy. He's a 150-pound back. Now, if you look, it's a similar play that they've been running, that kick-out trap. Instead, they didn't kick out 10. Quarles, they actually base blocked him and pulled the backside G up for the backer.
Here's the pitch, and Jones bounces off a couple tackles, gets a yard.
Joey Perez, great job turning it back into Quarles' 10.
That's not the first time we heard that.
No, it's not, but Quarles has to wrap up. He just tried to throw his shoulder into there.
Yep.
These guys are elusive, and they're slippery, and they can break tackles.
They continue to have one man covering 2 wide receivers. Taylor. What's your thought over there, Frank?
Well, again, I think at this point they're defending what they're doing, not what they may do. Because the way Perez is angled in, he's just the presence there. He's more focused on running here. But if they take a shot right down the seam with him, that could be.
Jones cuts it outside, beats Perez, and brought down just shy of the first down. may call for a measurement here.
26-yard line.
Just jet sweep there. There's nothing fancy about that. And I think that's why, because you have your strong safeties there positioned that way, so you're trying to be able to help out on jet and also sneak back into the box to lend another hand to when 23 is running the football.
Well, again, Salem has the wind to their back, but they do not kick the football. So it's always 4-down territory. So 1:02 left, first down for Salem. Looks like they got a good spot there. And they have a minute to take care of business with 1 timeout remaining. Paulsboro just has to limit Salem, and now Salem not ready to snap the football. They're using up precious time. Clock continues to move inside of 50. Taylor breaks 1 tackle. Taylor will not break the next one.
If you take a peek there are 5 red hats around that football right now, and that's what you need to do. You got to swarm to the ball. And it's easier said than done. Listen, we could slice it and dice it all we want, sit there and say, well, you got to get guys to the ball, you got to get guys to the ball. Well, Salem's good up front, right? And so it's way how you're going to design your D to make sure you're getting guys to the point of attack.
A loss of 2 yards. I mean, the play should have been called long before that.
Should have.
Minute 1, minute 2 left. They did not snap the ball until about 49 seconds left. That's 12 seconds. You don't have a kicker. You need every second.
You got to be in some urgency. There's no doubt about it. Now you're forcing yourself. Listen, you're that relying on your run game. I understand that. One more stop in bounds might cost you the half.
Yep.
So you're forced here to throw a ball. You might look at double.
Do you think they're going to throw the football?
They're going to have to. They have to win at their back.
I don't think they're going to throw the football.
You know what? We couldn't agree because that what fun
You're
is
the football
that?
coach, so you know more than I do.
Absolutely not. That's true. I remember sitting here last year watching Clayton and Pennsville saying be conservative, and here's Clayton on a toss pass, like that real conservative eye. That was great. But however, take a look. 23 is on the sidelines now, and now 14 is lined up in the slot. We got Wildcat. We got all kinds of craziness going on here.
It's like the deck was shuffled. 2nd down and 12. Bobbled snap. Jones gets direct snap, and he's cut down at the 25. And more importantly, he's out of bounds. So 34 seconds left, and again, a whole change in personnel there. A lot of things going on there.
It was an interesting time to pull out Wildcat quarterback sweep. It really was, because again, there's really probably not a pass threat there unless Zaire can throw the ball. Maybe he's a lefty and they're setting something up. Hey, roll him this way, and then next time come out with a run, one of those RPOs or a run, just make him look like sweep and throw the football.
3rd down and 9. And Weatherspoon in a whole lot of trouble. Ball's loose, picked up by Paulsboro, and now they say he was down. And that will likely be the last play if they don't hustle here.
16 and running. That's going to be it. That's going to be the end of the half. They're not going to get this off.
Again, very little urgency here.
But I'm also shocked that with this point in the game, you do not have 23 on the field. Why is Taylor?
And they do not get it off. They do not get it off.
I am not sure why Taylor is standing next to Coach right here. Maybe he's thinked up. Maybe he needed a little break. Who knows?
Well, I tell you, I don't know, because again, that should be more than enough time to get a playoff. But Ray Bentley was literally just having some theatrics. Just so disappointed, because when you have Taylor, it's just one play away from the end zone.
It is. So it's a very interesting end of the half. Otherwise, a very good, well played first half for Salem.
We head to halftime. Rams on top of Red Raiders. Atlantic City Electric. Game of the week. Group 1 championship. Welcome back to Glassboro. Rowan University. Salem on top of Paulsboro 20-13 in the Group 1 championship game, your Atlantic City Electric game of the week. And Salem to kick it away. There seems to be some discussion as to which side they should be kicking the ball to, so we'll wrap that up and try again. Speaking of trying again, in the first half, We kept telling you that it was a surprise to see Arshawn Weatherspoon, the freshman at quarterback. Even more surprising is that that was not Arshawn Weatherspoon.
Yes, that is true, Rob.
So they played surprise jerseys on us, and it was actually Keenan Cheeks, who is typically the quarterback, wearing the uniform of another player for whatever reason. So do want to clear that up before we start things here in the third quarter. And Galante will kick it away for the Rams. It's a ground ball taken at the 30-yard line and down right there. So first down and 10 after the short kick. Marina probably would like to have that back and maintain his feet.
He fielded it clean. It's one you just try to get north, get as much as you possibly can. You got to have an escape plan for your guys. Whether if an up back gets it, either I'm taking it immediately up the chute or I'm going to the near sidelines. But I'm sure that he would have liked to do that. There was probably 5 to 10 more yards he could have gotten for his offensive unit.
So Paulsboro will go into the wind here in the third quarter. Jones to Holloway. Holloway, so quick, cuts it back, gain of about 7.
That's a nice little play there. They're reading that inside D tackle. They're fanning the offensive tackle out and reading number 54 there. Nice play, great first down play.
Again, Jones fakes to Holloway, and Jones falls forward. He should be very close to that first down, depends on the spot. Did not get the best spot here, and we'll see. They give him a left foot spot. I thought he was going to get the right foot spot.
No doubt.
Is that something you guys talk about on the side?
We kind of do. Yeah, we kind of do the other foot. You didn't give us the other foot. Well, that one they did.
That is funny.
It's right out of the gate. First down.
First down and 10. Jones working with twins to the right. Keeps. Jones exploits the middle and gets to about the 45 or 46-yard line. Jones is primarily a basketball player, and speaking with the coaching staff, I said, what's the difference this year with Jones? He said, he's starting to get it. I mean, he's put the time in, he's committed himself to football, and we have benefited as a result, and it clearly shows. And here, Holloway's in a whole heap of trouble. We talk about managing the game and good reads. That wasn't one of them.
Nope. No, he's going to want that one back. As he pulls that, he very well could be down the chute with not a soul around him. That's power read. Here you go. You're reading 66. He played out completely to take the jet sweep guy, or in this case outside zone. He should have pulled that thing and tucked it, and he would have had a lot of real estate there.
I mean, the only thing you can say is maybe he didn't see Jameer Furbush, which isn't easy because he is a large young man.
We're being kind.
3rd and 13. Jones throws, has his man. It's caught inside the 20-yard line. What a fine catch by Emmanuel Simon.
So we said earlier in the first half, at some point they have to challenge these corners. They're going to sit there and they're going to play up in the box. You have to attack them.
Simon leads his team in catches, and here you see why. Good coverage. Simon just wanted it a little bit more. That's his 24th reception on the year, first down and 10.
Great skinny post there, well thrown ball.
Jones keeps. And maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
He went right back to that read where he kind of blew it on the play prior to that. The DN there played it pretty well. Holloway, if he wants to stay a little flatter there, so we can actually don't let the DN play both, the Q as well as the running back.
There's a Salem player on the ground, and he seems to be in a lot of pain. No one can afford to have an injury to a starter, but when you talk about Group 1 and you look at Salem, I mean, they have a thin bench, so they're obviously not going to be as deep as other programs. Well, haven't gotten a number yet on the injured player. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's take a look at the Rams this year, 9-2. We mentioned they started out 1-2, and then they took off.
They sure did, and they're putting up some really big numbers offensively. They're at this point, they're averaging 36 points a game, and that's just look. There's a lot of 40s on there. There's a lot of 50s on there,
and still trying to get the number of the player that went off.
Who's the Q? Keenan Cheeks.
That's going to be a big loss if it is Cheeks, in fact, who is hurt. We'll see how Salem deals with that, but first they've got defensive issues to take care of. Jones sprints to his right. Jones now trying to create. Jones beats one man. Now he's going to throw. No, he still stays on his feet. Now he throws. Has a man open. Caught, touchdown. What an unbelievable catch. Completely outstretched. A phenomenal catch. Paulsboro's Matt Pedaniccio. A catch for the ages.
Wow. That young man used every bit of his frame there. He's only 5'6". He played right there like he was 6'6". Talk about, again, Kyle Jones extending plays. That single-handedly beat us when we played him week 5. You got to stay disciplined, keep covering guys, and this guy continues to make plays. Big-time play. Great job keeping your eyes downfield. That throw into the wind across the field from the near side, the far sideline to the R and Rowan. What a great throw. Big-time throw, big-time play.
Well, I think our director, Stan Ritter's got to package that up and send that off to ESPN. That was just an unbelievable play. 20-19, Salem on top. And now, interestingly, they're going to go for 2 here.
Got to write this timeout down, because this is one in a close game you may need. Let's take a peek. Let's look at this. There, little play action fake there. He does a tremendous job here. This is one of these, as a coach, like, don't. Why are you doing this? Don't. Great throw. Because now he sits there, he keeps his eye. Look at the distance that ball travels. And, number 5 laying out. Why? Because winning's important. And he knows the championship's on the line. Do whatever it takes. Tremendous throw. Even better catch.
It was a jump throw, too. If you watch that play, I mean, his feet weren't set. Again, that illustrates his athleticism, but maybe more importantly, look at the arm strength on him. How far he threw that ball into the wind on a jump throw.
Yes. Again, he is a special player, and there's a reason why he threw for 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, now make it 18, and is responsible for almost 2,000 yards of offense this year for Paulsboro.
Well, Pedaniccio has 2 touchdowns now on the year. That one and one previous, only 14
This smells like play action to me here, Rob.
Jones with the waggle, throws, has a man, caught, good.
Yep, the old double tight wishbone formation. First thing you got to expect of is flood. The play action flood, that's a power down or it's play action for them. And they decided to go to the play action. That's a great catch. Tiptoeing. There it is. You see the tight end. One tight end running to the back pylon. 20's going to try to run to the front pylon. Great job with his feet and great hands. You got to catch the ball with your hands, but obviously you got to know where you are. Good field awareness. But that's play action down for Paulsboro. When they want to get lined up in 2. And now again, that's obviously a very well-used timeout. But in a close game, that timeout might come back to haunt Paulsboro if they had to take that.
Well, Tahir Dowd, how many times do you see it on the field? A guy makes a great catch and then he kicks the ball off.
Don't forget he's got to change his shoe. He's got to change his shoe first. There it is. There's the black steel toe shoe. We're good to go.
After this, he can work at the construction site with that shoe.
He can.
21-20 Paulsboro.
Next time we work together, I'm going to bring Super Jock for you just because of it.
Okay.
You don't even know what I'm talking
about. I'm going to bring my hard hat. Well, again, Paulsboro makes a statement there. I don't think we're done seeing scoring here, but keep that play in mind. Dowd's kick high towards the sideline, taken at the 14-yard line. Still on his feet, cut down at about the 26 or 27. And Pedaniccio, he's doing it all now.
Look at him. Good for him. That makes a big-time catch. Now it makes a great tackle on kickoff. The man's fired up.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here you go. God, let's go. We're going to take a peek at this. You watch number 5 on the top right of your screen here. He's going to break his feet down nicely, right? Jones is going to try to create a little something, try to Houdini out. Well, that can't do it. Great open field tackle.
And Pedaniccio used all 5'6" of himself to make the play. and he needed every last inch to make the catch. Paulsboro on top, 21-20, 9:08 left, third quarter. It's been a good one. And now the handoff, and nothing doing for Taylor.
Nothing at all right there. There you're looking at Quarles, who made a huge play there, and also you look there, it's set number 74, Douglas Blue Eli, who's actually a kid who, him and his brother transferred in from Tefford this year as well. So there you go. It's a great play. Look at it. How many people are at the point of attack? Look at it. I think the whole team's there.
2nd down and 13, and Salem is still in the huddle. Long play developing, a long time developing for the play, and they're starting to count it off now. Cheeks throws the rocket screen. Out on the outside, not a whole lot there. Now Jones will cut it across. Oh, big block laid out. Jones still on his feet, and we're going to have a penalty here.
He just did a whole lot of running for a yard.
Well, and actually less, because this penalty is going to create a personal foul against Salem. So they're going to be in a heap of trouble here.
They are, and you can just feel the momentum changing here. Take a peek, bubble screen, right? That's a real nice job. Our guy Perez, Quarles, right? Here's Marina. They're all going, right? A couple key blocks there. One I guess was in the back. And then who ends up kind of almost at the point of it? That's Holloway, as well as Perez again, somewhere near the vicinity. But this is not good. Look at you. You are backed up here. It's second in a boatload here.
2nd down. We'll call it 29. And Cheeks has thrown the football, but both of them have been sideways. And now another penalty flag, and this is going to go against Salem. And this is the difference now between a program that is here each and every year and a program that maybe starts to feel the pressure a little bit.
Right, and that's what we kind of talked about at the end of the first half. It was, if you can cut that margin to make it that's one score game, you're in a locker room with all kinds of momentum now. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different, we're in one locker room, we're winning, but we don't have the momentum right now. The other locker room is we're losing, but we're going to win this football game. And again, you're talking about a team that has won 17 sectional titles, and obviously 12 under Coach Howard. And the run started in '92 when he got his first one, and then he only won 6 consecutive because of a gentleman by the name of Kevin Harvey, who is probably one of the best high school football players, in South Jersey, arguably, who's now on staff.
Let's take a look again at the Woodbury schedule, or excuse me, the Paulsboro schedule. They started off against Woodbury and lost, and ever since then, they've been on a roll, except a small speed bump on Thanksgiving.
It is, and I know that's a game that you have to play, and it's one of those. Obviously, the West Effort is an extremely well coached team. It's a tough team to prep for on a short week, especially when your focus is maybe a little bit on the next one, which is this one. So again, another great season for Coach Howard and the Red Raiders. And here you are, 21-20, and not a non-ideal situation here for Salem.
2nd down and 33. Cheeks. Draw. Taylor breaking tackles. Taylor on his feet. Quite a run for Taylor. And again, anytime you see him in open space, the only thing you can think about is who is going to outrun Jonathan Taylor.
But again, you have to get multiple hats to the ball, and there's Perez there. There's also Kyle Jones there. And if you look at it, good call, safe call, lead draw. And now right here when he makes Quarles miss, you're thinking, oh boy, he might get this 33 yards back all in one clip.
3, 4, 5, 6 guys to tackle him. And that's what you need. You need a team effort to stop someone of that quality. Again, a reminder, Jonathan Taylor, the best running back in modern era New Jersey State history. 3rd down, 19. And they swing it out to Taylor. It's picked off and then dropped. An ill-advised pass, and Salem comes away very fortunate.
Santino Marina is going to want that one back. That was his chance. He does a great job on blitz peel, sees the swing route, jumps off. It's in his hands. He's going to want that one back. It would have been a tremendous play because Furbush actually got a pass break up on that one.
Absolutely.
The right tackle. But
Furbush plays defense, and that's what he had to do right there.
But a really good job of recognizing that swing, blitz peeling, and saying, no, the rushes, I'm not going to get there in time, but there's a back coming out, and I got to make this play.
Well, remember, Salem has had one punt travel a total of 1 yard. This time they have the wind to their back. The wind is still strong. Good snap. And it's blocked! It's blocked!
Perez is all over this field today.
Unbelievable.
And this place is absolutely bedlam right now, and everything's in Paulsboro's favor right now. Unbelievable that the shift, special teams, we talked about it being critical. Perez he can almost took the ball right off his foot. Great job. He's fired up. The troops are. Red Raider Nation's having a blast here right now. And now Salem needs to stop.
Well, if you look at the far sidelines, I mean, you have just about the entire town of Salem and maybe some bordering towns, and they're watching their team just kind of fall apart at the seams. And for me, Frank, it all started at the end of the first half. They had an opportunity to run some plays, maybe get another score, and it just seemed like lack of organization, and it all fell apart.
That's a fair statement.
Handoff. Holloway cuts it. Holloway angled, and now we're going to have a penalty. And that's a spot foul, so that's at the 15. It's going to go back all the way to the 25.
It's a nice little trap play inside. It gets bounced out. Ref saw a block in the back. Here it is. Let's take a look at this. Holloway bounces it
right there.
It's close. It's close. You can see. You can see it, and when that's happening in real time, we have it in slow mo here. It's probably a pretty good call. Still first down. No need to panic. First down. Momentum's on your side. Everything's good.
First down and 24 at the 25. They can get a first down. Jones. Screen. Holloway. I tell you what, you got to credit Holloway. He had someone bearing down on him. Easily could have come away with a turnover there, but instead he holds on to the football, and it's second down.
Yeah, Ramir Knock came up and made a really good play. That sophomore, he's got 25 tackles this year. He sniffs it out. He does, but you clearly see number 52 for Paulsboro, the left guard, Justin Blair, probably wants that one back. No, he was able to cue him up. There was some real estate there.
You got to like that name if you're a defensive player, Ramir Knock.
Oh, you got to love it.
Just knocked out. Holloway, second down, and now 26 to go for a first down. Jones throws, tipped. And Harbison, the intended receiver, third down.
Basically trying to create three verticals there. If you look, nice job stepping into the throw. That's number 6. That's Nate States, who did a great job carrying the vertical just to let number 23, obviously Jonathan Taylor. We don't really call too much on D, but he kind of sits back there and just roams back there and says, I'm your safety valve. You did a nice job. If you come back to that, I wouldn't be opposed to you coming back to that and getting Pettinicchio, who was the number 3 running the vertical on the opposite side.
Again, we'll see if Jones continues to go to the air. Remember, they can attempt a field goal should they get some yardage here, but they're out of range currently. Jones looks to a quarterback draw, tries to create time, throws, has his man, overthrows his intended receiver, Simon.
Credit Salem there. They did a nice job just keeping him in the pocket. Did a nice job keeping in the pocket, not letting him escape out. You just have to be so disciplined with a guy like Kyle Jones, who that's kind of what he wants to. His read's not there. Let's escape. Let's create something with my legs.
All right, so the ball's at the 27. You're not going to kick a field goal here. Does it make any sense at all to try to punt the football?
there's validity to it. There is, especially, but you're punting into this extreme wind. You might end up punting the ball backwards. But no, I think here you got to attack, because best case, you gain 7 yards.
Jones trips right. 3-step drop, Jones. Biding time. Throws down the middle. Jump ball! And it falls incomplete.
They went to the same exact play, basically, the 4 verticals out of a 3-by-1 formation. And Nate States does a really good job, again, carrying his vertical. If you take a look at him, he's on his inside hip. And obviously at this point it becomes more of a jump ball scenario. At some point in that deal, you might want to look to the backside, to the weak side of it, because you've got a lot of guys there. You have 3 receivers to that side. You're getting a lot of attention with coverage, and you're probably one-on-one backside. On the back end of that is DeAndre blew out Eli as well. So if they need to come back to it, look for the backside of it.
1st and 10, 5:19 left. Handoff, Taylor. And Taylor gets 1 or 2.
And they're playing that trap a little bit differently now. Quarles is doing a real good job there attacking that. And then also number 54 for Paulsboro, Wyatt Hinkle, got over the top as well to make a great play.
It was just funny to see there, It's kind of old school. One of the Salem offensive linemen asked Quarles if he wanted a hand, offered him a hand to get him up, and Quarles said, "No, I don't want any help getting him. I'm going to get up by myself."
I'm good. I'm good.
2nd down and 8. Cheeks. And Cheeks is pounded by Perez.
It's a good answer. If you remember, they went to that same exact play that Cheeks earlier in the game got knocked out of bounds at, say, the 2 or 3 yard line, using Taylor as the misdirection and coming back to that single receiver side with a trap with very little run support there, because you have all your attention going A to Taylor and B to the 3 receiver side.
Coming into today, he only had 46 yards on the ground. He's about matched that today.
At some point, in these games, your big players got to play great. We know that, but secondary players come, and let's be honest, Coach Paulsboro's staff is trying to hopefully make a support player beat them.
3rd down. Taylor. 1st down, Rams.
39-yard line. Medica on the stop.
This becomes kind of a battle of wills after. It's 21-20, and it's just, hey, we're going to run the ball. You're going to run the ball. Who wants to win a little bit more?
It's funny, because when you get settled into these type of games, all of a sudden, everything that you worked on, all the game plan stuff, everyone goes back to what they know and just becoming and jumping themselves into each play and trying to.
Jones cuts it outside. Jones with space and runs out at midfield.
That's just an athlete being an athlete there, right?
Yep.
86, Santino Marina right here tries to log this, pins himself in. Taylor does a nice job actually securing the edge there and allowing Zaire to get to the corner.
And who chased him out of bounds?
Yep, you got it, Perez.
Unbelievable. What a tremendous game by that young man. 1st and 10, handoff, outside, and again, what you'd like to see from Taylor is that when he thinks he's going to get tackled, then he says, you know what, I'm going to become the defensive player and you're going to get punished.
He does. Again, I don't think he's ever really truly getting hit, ever. He's delivering, and as a Paulsboro defender and anyone who's had to tackle this guy over the course of the last year or so, you're sitting there going, oh boy, it's mano a mano. I got to stop this. Yeah, there's definitely a little cringe to you, but credit Paulsboro. They're getting into this street fight and they're slugging it out, back and forth.
21-20. 2:30 left. Handoff. Inside. And it's a knock this time for the 1st down.
Ramir Knock getting a carry here. That's old school power right there. Just give the ball, let the big fella lead you around, and the big hogs over there. That was right behind number 74. Taleem Thompson.
Again, the handoff. And cut down is Taylor. Perez again with, I mean, we talk about just how punishing Taylor is. Here you see Perez. He's undersized. I mean, he's listed at 5'7", 155. It could be generous, all right?
No doubt.
And he's taking on Taylor right there one-on-one, and Perez wins the battle.
He does. No, he's using leverage, size, and his football sense and smarts, and probably some stuff that he's learned on the mat, too.
2nd and 8. Pitch. Taylor. And Taylor is swarmed upon.
That's a great play by Douglas Blue Eli, that big sophomore. All of a sudden, his presence is becoming felt this half. We haven't really called his name. You look, nice little toss here. Knock does a decent job, as well as Marina makes that play there by not giving up his edge. Now you got people swarming to the football again. Just hold on and let my troops get there. Marina does a great job setting it, and Blue Eli does a nice job finishing it off.
So inside of 1 minute remaining here in the third quarter, Paulsboro on top of Salem, 21-20, and it's 3rd down and 9. Out of the shotgun, Cheeks looks over the defense and looks for the audible from the sideline. He has Taylor, he keeps. Here's Cheeks. Cheeks pushes forward and maybe 2 yards, and now a decision on the part of Salem. Do you punt the football here?
Nope.
No?
They're not going to. Listen, the last one was punted, that was blocked. The one, then we also had a yard punt. They're going to go. That's why, honestly, I think that last play, they tried to go with a Q run game, a little misdirection, because next year, I think they're going to let the quarter run down. They're going to think about it. But if I was a betting guy, they're going to go.
Well, I think that's wise on their part to just let the clock run out. They can talk about their options and see what the fourth quarter brings, which is exactly what we'll do. We head to break. Fourth quarter on its way. Paulsboro on top of Salem by 1. South Jersey Group 1 championship, your Atlantic City Electric game of the week. Fourth down here, fourth quarter underway. Paulsboro on top, 21-20. Atlantic City Electric game of the week, and they're going for it. Ball spotted at the 36-yard line, and it's Jones. Jones fires forward, but Paulsboro holds.
Salem's here. Haddonfield is not. Last 2 plays, Taylor did not touch the ball in a critical spot. Again, it's a nice trap. It's a nice crease. Great stop, and there's our big fellas, the Douglas Blue Eli, the 6'2", 300-pounder, who's playing large here in the second half.
And now Paulsboro wants to take a page out of their playbook. Long, protracted drive, eat up some clock, try to illustrate some dominance here. We'll see how it unfolds. Kyle Jones hands to Holloway. Right up the gut. Holloway beats his man. Will he be caught from behind? Holloway beats him. One more. Touchdown. What an individual effort by Deron Holloway.
Out. First and goal back, right? We talked about it at the top of the show. We also talked about it as this game has gone. Both teams have first and goal back. You got a 67-yard touchdown run. And if you take a note, he's almost got caught by Furbush from Salem. Great finish, great vision. We talked about it. Triple threat. He can run, he can catch, and he can also return kicks.
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm more impressed with the run or Furbush's speed.
How about that, right?
Oh, unbelievable.
How about that? That's huge. Now it's 27-20. You're going to opt not to kick here. Go for 2. You have a kicker. Make it an 8-point game where a score doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at that. Are you surprised?
Me, yes, I am. They're going to have to burn a timeout here.
They go for 2. Wind to their back. Jones angles to the sideline, throws, caught, it's good. 2-point conversion is good.
Like we said, go for 2. Not a problem.
Pettinicchio, 29-20 Paulsboro.
There's Pettinicchio again, right? Now you just made this a real 2-score game. Salem doesn't have a kicker. 11:41. Look at it. Here's that play, the touchdown run. Nice little seam. He didn't have a big seam, right? That's why we're talking about on traps. You have to sit there and close it. Here's Furbush trying to hawk him down.
He actually closed on
it. He did. He made Holloway had to make him miss, and then he had to finish a little tiptoe into the end zone. Now you go back to the 2-point conversion, a little sprint out pass here, right? The formation itself, I think, caused some issues, amongst the Salem defense. Great job. Now they make this thing a 2-score game, and that's a really big 2-point conversion.
I mean, Holloway is so fast. I'm still amazed at Furbush. I mean, that's a large individual tracking down one of the faster players in South Jersey.
It's an awesome thing to see a kid where it's a D tackle, trying to chase somebody down 30 yards. Again, this is a big deal. It's important. They know it's on the line here, and you don't get these opportunities often. And when you get here, you have to capitalize because I said earlier, you never know when you're getting here again. Although, Paulsboro has been in, 26 finals, you still don't take any one of them for granted.
Paulsboro to kick it away. Again, wind to their back. And this one's short, end over end, bounces at the 19 and sits up nicely for Jones. Jones across the 25, still on his feet, cuts it back inside, and now he's going to be taken down at about the 33-yard line, and Salem has some climbing to do.
They have some work. They have a lot of work to do. They still don't have to panic. They still don't, but they have to move the ball. They got to get out of the huddle a little bit faster. They're trying to create as many possessions as possible, and if you take time and you're deliberate, you have to be perfect on every single snap. Nice job here of Jones Zaire just trying to create some space, create some yardage, and nice job there trying to maintain leverage. And again, you're going to see it here, number 3, our boy Joey Perez, who's been all over the field today now, making a big play on special teams too.
How about Antoine Wallace too? He missed the tackle, he got right back up, and then made the tackle. Again, that's what you need in championship games. Taylor.
They went back to that 2-back power with Knock getting the ball there.
And I see you over here, Frank. You're just wondering why is Taylor not touching the football?
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure Ramir's a great player. Note, you got a kid going to Wisconsin.
Second down. And Knock pulls his way forward. Still no whistle, and it finally stopped at the 46-yard line. So they went knock-knock.
I know where you're going with this. Rob, I'm not even entertaining my friend. I'm going to say first down, Rams, ball on the right hash. Here we go.
First and 10, 46-yard line. Again, the handoff inside, and they're just trying to kind of utilize the strength of that offensive line that gave them such a good push in the first half. We haven't seen the same result in the second half, but now they're trying to go back to what worked.
Correct, and they're also going to a lot more 2-back runs than they did in the first half. Remember, the one touchdown, they went 2-back run where they were able to punt, but that was down at the goal line. So let's see.
Cheeks is in trouble.
Marina, great play. So this is a great play, staying home. One thing, when you're going 2 backs now, what they were earlier in the first half, when they're going 2x2, 3x1 in terms of formations, you're pulling guys out of the box. You're now bringing guys into the box, and that's helping Paulsboro now. There's one less guy on the perimeter that you need to defend, and one more guy that can spend attention here on your 2 backs in the backfield now. So let's see what they're going to do here. It's third down, probably 2 down territory.
Inside handoff, and just shy of the first down. So back to Taylor, and a critical 4th down now for Salem. They're about 2 yards shy.
Yeah, there he is, just trying to find a little bit of daylight. Guys swarming all around. Just trying to make sure they're gap sound and maintaining leverage on the ball. You have to know where 23 is at all times. Let's see now. There's some question. Last 4th down, they went to Jones.
4th and 2. Taylor. And he didn't make it. He did not make it. And that's right there is textbook. How do you stop Jonathan Taylor? Get early penetration.
Get them before you get going. Again, though, it's 2 backs. You're allowing people to bring in guys to the box. Right here, great job. Look at that by Quarles, wrong arm and out. Look at all the boys that are there. You got the big body. You got Frank's in there now. You got Blue Eli. You got big bodies in there that are preventing that from happening. Don't bring guys back into the box. Also, the way they broke the huddle, right? You kind of see that the perimeter guys are going to be kind of a non-factor. They kind of shut it down on that play. Credit Paulsboro. Here they are, 8:54 remaining in the game, up 9 points in the driver's seat.
We mentioned before that Paulsboro would love to have a long, protracted drive, and they quickly scored. I don't think that would be a problem for them again.
Not be a problem at all. Not be.
Jones. And Holloway is enveloped in the backfield.
Savion Moore made a really nice play there. Again, he might have been a blocking bust there. He got in there almost before the snap did. He's still fired up. He's still ready to go. He's still believing. There's still time on the clock. We're going to still keep fighting.
2nd down, 14. Paulsboro content to take their time getting the play off. Still needing to direct traffic, and now we have a penalty. They called timeout prior to the flag, and Glenn Howard obviously not pleased. Again, it's just interesting to see in any sport how there's an ebb and a flow, and sometimes when teams they feel the momentum, then all of a sudden they let up a little bit, and then it's sometimes it's momentum is like a beautiful woman. Take her for granted and she's going to leave you.
That's an interesting analogy. I don't think I've ever heard that one, but you're right. It's a funny, momentum is a funny thing. And people say, I don't believe in it, but you create momentum is huge, especially when you get, again, these are kids. When you look at this place right now, it's filing in for the next game, but also you got a great crowd here, both respect. I don't think there's a soul in Paulsboro right now, nor Salem. They're all here. And you get them in this stage. And kids, they respond differently. Some kids love this thing. Like, this is what I think is kind of funny, where you go to Salem and you watch a game there, and they had a great crowd there, but it was maybe 600-700 people at the game between them and Heights. Mm-hmm. Well, next year Jonathan Taylor's going to play in front of 110,000.
Yeah.
So this is a small sample of it, but I think it's another great thing why this thing is, this tournament is here at Rowan.
Jones. Direct snap, Jones still on his feet, kicks it outside, Jones, and tries to stay in bounds. And there you see some of the intelligence of that young man.
That's a really smart play there. Clock is your friend here. Just keep on running that thing, slide, keep it, stay in bounds, and live. Now this is a big 3rd down. Take a look here. There's nothing fancy here. It's just an outside zone concept with your cue, and Holloway leading around right here. Nothing left. Hey, I'm gonna head for cover here.
Wow, that's a great play. There's a lot of pro players that don't make that play.
Correct. We're talking about the same thing about kids on big stages. Well, stage isn't too big, especially when you're prepared. And you're prepared and you're ready for the moment. And you know that Coach Howard and his staff have done a tremendous job preparing for every situation. As we talked about, get more nervous as a coach than you do sometimes as a player. You go through situations. You go through hey, there's 4 minutes left in the game. We got to stay in bounds, or we have to get off piles. We got to get ball back if we're on defense. Make the officials spot it. So credit to them. This guy better get on the line of scrimmage here. We don't have enough men. There you go. But Good job keeping that clock running, using every second of this play clock.
3rd down now and 4. Across midfield. Jones rolls to his right, throws, and that's just a prayer right there. And
they ran that same play against us, and it worked against us. The same thing. It was at a 2x2. There's your RPO. Our corner bit up on that thing. Good job by Salem there, staying home on that. It's one of those things. If everyone bails, run it. If they come up, throw it over top of them. But that's a really good, smart, disciplined play of the corner there for Salem.
It's an opportunity to hit the home run ball, if you will, and if it gets intercepted, it works like a punt. It falls incomplete, no harm done. Paulsboro is going to punt it away with the wind to their back. The wind has died down to some degree, but it's still active. High punt, fair catch called for, and taken at about the 12-yard line.
Now we'll see if they're going to go into any type of 2-minute deal. But you need 2 scores. You do. So time is now becoming a factor. I know you're backed up here. You're on your own 12-yard line. There's nothing ideal. And we're not saying you got to chuck the ball over the yard here, but you have to have a tempo and a sense of urgency getting to the football.
This is great too, because you're starting to see some of the crowd from Salem and Paulsboro commingled with so many people. We've seen so many people, Frank, that you and I know who have no affiliation in any of these schools just to watch great football. And now you're starting to get the Millville and the Toms River crowd here, and it's just a tremendous atmosphere. Taylor. It was funny in the pregame, we talked to members of the Paulsboro coaching staff, and they said, listen, Taylor's going to get his, but he's not going to get 300 yards. He's not.
No.
And that's pretty much what's happened right here.
Sure. Oh, yeah, he's going to end up with his 1,200-yard game of the season.
Taylor.
As we said that, he almost busted it for 80.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we were going to have been thrown. We're never allowed back in Paulsboro again. Chris said that one.
But again, that just reinforces that even though a lot of people at home said, this team, they can't score 2 touchdowns with 6.5 minutes left. Let me tell you something. One handoff to Taylor can go all the way every single time.
No question. Good team defense there. There's going to be at some point, Cheeks is going to have to throw something here. Not in panic mode. Doesn't have to be a 50-yard throw. One that's vertically stretching downfield, but you're going to have to attack Paulsboro to be able to try to puncture in a big play. Maybe Jones here on a bubble screen or a complementary play off of the bubble screen that they run multiple times.
Jones in motion, gets the jet sweep. Jones finds a seam. Jones is on his way. Jones is one man to beat. Perez will not catch him. On his way, touchdown.
Or you stay patient, run jet sweep, and you run the ball for 71-yard touchdown. It's just using it. Just a great play against Zaire is a major factor of this team. Why it is so explosive all season. Why Salem was able to put up over 4,300 yards of total offense and 53 scores this season. Large reason why. Now all of a sudden, my friend, we got a game.
Well, we talked about just how dangerous Jonathan Taylor is, and Zaire Jones wanted to remind us that he's going to have something to say about it too. He's been a factor, and we talked with the Paulsboro coaching staff about that as well. They said, we're worried about Jones. I mean, we know what we have in Taylor. I don't know if the kids understand just what Jones brings to the table. 29-26, Salem going for 2, as they traditionally do. The pitch, and this is a lot of trouble, and Taylor is brought down. So 29-26, which means that if Paulsboro scores another touchdown, it doesn't matter whether they make the point after or not, it's still a 2-possession game.
Correct. That's why that was a really big stop, and as they've done in the past, they've gone to option for their 2-point conversion. Let's go back to this jet sweep here. Nice block there by Taylor leading the way, and pretty much after that it was all Jones, just outrunning everybody. I think they got him by formation there. Maybe somebody was late in the motion rotation down and shifting to try to get yourself into play to make a defensive stop. But again, nice kick out by Taylor, and there Jones did the rest.
Frank, I don't know whether you would have scored a touchdown, but you would have been able to get through that hole.
I would have got 6 yards and had to stop for oxygen. Pending I made it on the motion across the field.
Yeah, that's right. They would have given you a water break on the way.
Please do.
So, just when it looked like Paulsboro had snatched all the momentum, and we talked about that, just how momentum just seemed to, it was almost, they were just kind of starting to cruise a little bit.
They were. They were, absolutely. And now all of a sudden momentum has changed back now. Now you just have this 50-50 game. You know, really, two might win, might lose at this situation again. It's only 5.5 minutes left in the game.
Well, special teams have played a factor all night. Let's see if it happens again. Short kick taken at the 32-yard line, and they will fall on it. Well, I think Paulsboro is looking for a penalty there, but Salem doesn't know what's going to happen. You got to play the play out.
You do. You don't see Marina taking a knee yet. You're going down at a full head of steam. I don't know if you're going to be able to put on the brakes there and try to avoid that contact.
Again, I think the contact was happening just as Marina was going down. If you hesitate against a team like Paulsboro with that type of athleticism and speed, then you're going to get burnt. So, I think a good no call there. And here you take a look.
It's kind of simultaneous in terms of the block as well with the return of him taking a knee.
It was Monty Justice who is the top tackler for this Rams team. And Jones fights his way forward for about 5.
Just quarterback ISO in there, and that makes total sense because in that formation, they had a one linebacker day sitting in there. You have numbers. You have a clear number advantage. You don't up in there. Use your quarterback as a runner.
So they give him a good spot. We'll call it a gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. Paulsboro looking to the sidelines again. And they're going to audible here. Jones will have Holloway in the backfield in a 4-receiver set. We know that Jones is more than capable of throwing the football. Holloway has been relatively quiet recently. Here's Jones. Jones bides his time and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage.
They brought an extra backer in the box this time. They didn't play quite the same as they did last snap. So now this is a big 3rd down.
This game just gets more interesting as it evolves.
The only thing we'll tell you is I don't think we're going overtime because Salem doesn't have a kicker because they even attempted an extra point, let alone a field goal.
Huge crowd on hand, and it looks like Paulsboro is going to call timeout here. No, I don't know. They're using up a lot of clock. And this is not a place where you want a penalty. Jones working out of the shotgun with Holloway. 3rd down and 4. Jones sprints. Jones dives. Jones shy of the 1st down, I believe. Again, this is left foot, right foot spot, right?
No doubt. It is exactly that.
And we're going to get a measurement. I think they got it. What do you say?
I'll tell you in a minute. Wait for the measurement. It depends. If they use the spot on our sideline official, he's got it. If they use the other one, I think he's short.
Tell that ref to move so we can see it. Nope. It's about 3 links of a chain right there.
I would not be surprised here if Coach Howard has something called no play, where they're going to bark signals out, motion, jump, trade, shift, do a lot of things just to try to draw an offsides here.
Is that what you guys call it, no play?
We just call it no play.
Can't you come up with something creative? Why no play? I mean, give me something. Name it after your grandmother, something.
We'll do it. We'll call it Mary. God bless her.
You guys got to be a little bit more creative in your. Where do you come up with your play names? I mean, do you borrow from other teams or?
Well, that I asked my 8-year-old daughter.
4th down and inches. Jones. And Jones has it.
That was an illegal formation. It's an illegal formation. Either they have 12 guys on the field. That wide receiver was not on the ball. They went double tight, full house backfield. They have 12 guys, if I'm not mistaken. 12 guys.
Too many men on the field against Paulsboro. Wow. So, walk us through this as a coach. Whose responsibility is that? I mean, obviously, is it a coach's responsibility to count them? Is it a particular player on the field's responsibility?
Well, you have personnel groupings, and you're relying on your staff. Is whoever, obviously, Coach Howard's the play caller.
Sure.
So if he wants 22 personnel,
right,
you're going to sit there and rely. Hey, 22's in. Maybe you have a name. Maybe you have a nice fancy name called Jumbo, whatever it is for 2 tight ends, whatever it may be.
I like Jumbo better.
I like Jumbo, right? So now it's up to your sideline staff. It's your guys upstairs, making sure 2 guys came on, 2 guys came on. So it's kind of a group effort. Whoever the play caller is, though, he's making that, I need this grouping. This is the same situation. And the thing about that one is that play happened. So then that becomes a big-time 15-yard penalty rather than a 5-yard.
Well, that's a 15-yard penalty, very costly. Paulsboro forced to punt it away. Booming kick taken at the 35, and a tremendous tackle. Well, I say a tremendous tackle. He stopped him. He didn't tackle him. That's a great individual effort there by, looked like it was Knock. And Salem will have the football. First down and 10. This may be their last chance.
It is their last chance, right? They have 3 timeouts. They have 3 timeouts. But yeah, I'm with you. This is it. The ball's on the 30. This is what you want. Look at this. This is a great individual effort right there. I think that could be States right there returning that.
Emmanuel Simon. That's Simon, just hungry.
Yeah, it's a tough return. But here it is. This is the stage you want to be in. 3 minutes left in the game. We're down 3. We're up 3, whichever way perspective you're watching it from right now at home.
First and 10. Cheeks, hands off. Taylor with a surge. And every time you see Taylor just start to get up ahead of steam, the next thing you think is end zone.
Sure. And that's right now probably what Coach Howard is thinking as well. Look, this is a simple trap play, again, that we've been seeing all afternoon. He's one block. He's 1 block away. Again, there's no urgency whatsoever in Salem's game right now. None. They're just, maybe they come back to jet sweep here to Taylor. Not out of this formation, probably.
Jones, jet sweep. Jones on the outside. Jones.
Right, jet sweep to Ted. So they're pretty confident right now, Salem is, with their offense. Again, they think they could score from anywhere on the field. Just, again, very simple. It's a jet sweep deal. Last time they did it out of 3x1. This time it's 2x2. All he needs is a little step.
Anthony Marina made the big stop there. Otherwise, Jones had end zone on his mind. First down and 10. Salem moving the football here. 2:22 left. 48-yard line. Jones in motion. Fakes the jet sweep. And now Taylor's in trouble. Taylor trying to break tackles and fights his way back to the 45 or 46, but he will still lose yards. And again, 2 minutes in the NFL, plenty of time. In high school football, when you do not throw the football, not much.
Right, and now we're in 2-minute mode. Okay, because we were still huddling, up to the last play.
Well, timeout called here by Salem with 1:57 left. They have 2 timeouts remaining. And again, thus far, Cheeks his only passes have been maybe 1 yard forward. Typically, they've been
they're all
just rocket screens.
They're all horizontal. Yep, horizontal. There's nothing vertically stretching you. You may have to pull that out here. I know they're still going to be patient and try to run Zaire on their jet sweeps and maybe try to get maybe a screen pass. Might be a good option here. Try to find, maybe it is the Zaire. You set something up, maybe to get Taylor in space as well.
If you're Paulsboro and you know that they're going to run, isn't there also an inherent danger in just kind of stuffing the box? Because if he breaks through there, then it's a touchdown.
Oh, you break level 1, you're out.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yep, no doubt about it. And when we say level 1, we're saying, obviously, we're talking about level 1 being your front 5 in this case. If you have too many up there, you have nothing beyond the backers. Now let's take a look. Where's safety playing here? Holloway's is about 9 yards off the ball.
2nd and 13, handoff. Taylor Taylor bulls his way forward, and it's about the 49-yard line before the whistles blow. Clock continues to move. We're down to 1:45 and counting. Third down. We're going to call it 7. Cheeks. Jones in motion. Jones cuts it back. Stopped. Falls forward for maybe a yard.
That was well played, and that's what happened late when on that touchdown to give them their 26-point. It was the rotation on the motion that happened so much better there. Carls came under to try to knife it as well, and then over top of it came Perez right there, so there was no two-way go.
Okay, interesting timeout there. 1:21 left. You need 2 timeouts defensively if you don't get the first down here. Then at least you get a shot at getting the ball back. Coach Wright says it's more important to get this right.
Yeah, that's his philosophy right now, yeah. Rob. There's no doubt.
And I think anybody could argue either way. This is the play of the game for Salem, so you want to make sure that you're getting the right call here. Everybody understands what we're trying to do.
Because it's hammer victory after this.
Yeah.
You can kneel this. There's 1:21. They got one time. They can stop the clock. For the most part, you're good here. So yeah, your question was if you didn't have something already planned. When that last time out, as your OC, you're probably thinking, all right, if this works, I got this. If this, I got this. What happens if clearly maybe they didn't have that ready to go.
So let me ask you.
Yep.
You're coaching this football game. Everybody thinks the ball's going to Taylor. Do you give it to Taylor?
At 4th and 7, you probably got to throw this thing.
Well, I don't think I don't know. Do they even have that in the playbook?
So do you give it to Taylor? They may go Jones here.
4th and 7. Cheeks. Keeps. Cheeks. He's not getting there.
Interesting. What they did is they went back. That play has averaged a ton of yards for them today. There's no doubt about it. That was the one that set up their first score of the game. Again, 3-by-1. Faked to Taylor, come back in with that little trap for your cue. They got him down to the 4-yard line. They ran it down, earlier in the third quarter for another big play. Great job by the Paulsboro D, stopping that big 4th down. And Rob, their 18th title's only a minute and 14 seconds away.
Well, again, this is where you can get into victory formation. Only 1 timeout for Salem. Well, you hate to see that.
Cheeks just got one as well, yelling at the official. I'm impressed the official had 2 flags in his game.
Yeah. If he had to call 3, I don't know. Let's he throw his hat or
throw the hat, the beanbag. You got something.
Then it gets to the shoes. Well, Kyle Jones is still a little shaken up out there. He's favoring his 1 foot. And now I'll come over to Coach Howard and they'll run the clock.
All right,
Salem calls timeout.
Took their final timeout. It's just happened, and you sit here and you kind of just put in perspective what's possibly going to happen for Paulsboro in their 18th title. It's as I said in the beginning, it's the Paulsboro Invitational, and I kind of said it in jest, but you think about it, playoff system, 42 years in existence. They've qualified 36 times. Now again, this becomes their 18th title. It's the 13th one for Coach Howard, and then a couple other guys who are pretty well-known legends in South Jersey, and Tom Brown, who won 4 of them, and Coach Tarashi won the other one. So it's pretty significant.
And speaking with Coach Wright, I said, any concern about facing a team that just has this tremendous tradition? He said, we're a good football team too, but disregard the tradition of Paulsboro. Do so at your own peril.
Yes, no doubt. And obviously, Coach Wright's got to have confidence in his guys. They've come a long way. 2012, these guys were 0-10. you definitely have to respect the game, which I know they do, to respect the tradition of the game, and obviously you have to have a ton of respect for what Paulsboro has been able to accomplish.
Coach Wright has done a tremendous job in his time at Salem, coming into tonight 17-5 in 2 years at Salem. And the one thing that this Salem team has to understand is that, you know, just to get to this spot is an unbelievable accomplishment.
It is, and you're not going to see it tonight. You're not going to feel it. It's going to be awful. Tomorrow is going to be worse. Monday is going to be terrible in school. You understand that, but you do. You have a ton to be thankful for and really proud of. You know, look at the support that you had at Salem here tonight.
So this will be the last play of the football game, provided there's no turnover. Jones takes a knee, and again, Cheeks with a late hit, a cheap hit, and that's very disappointing to see from that young man. The final score, Paulsboro victorious 29-26. The Red Raiders, their cheerleaders, and some of their fans rushing onto the field. Paulsboro regains the crown, as you said, the victor in the Paulsboro Invitational.
And I know there's people are going to be watching this, getting ready to jump through the TV and disagree. It just, again, my point is, you just got to respect the tradition of the program and what they've been able to accomplish over the duration. People have great teams from time to time. You have great runs from time. But you've had a 36-year run, by always competing.
That's a marathon. That's not a run.
Correct. And you got to keep in mind too, this playoff system. At one point, there was only 4 teams that got in. It wasn't just an 18 bracket. And midway through the season, you start looking at PowerPoint, seeing are you in. Paulsboro doesn't care. They know at the end of the year they're going to be in. And when they get in here, they usually do damage and do really well.
Well, first let's talk a little bit about Salem. Again, Montre Wright has done a tremendous job with this football team. They're obviously going to miss Jonathan Taylor next year, but they've got a lot of talent here. I was very impressed with a lot of different players, Furbush, Justice, and Zaire Jones. So this is a football program that is on its way up. A lot of individual talent here, and Montre Wright, again, has a lot to be proud of. He's done a tremendous job with this football team.
Correct. And they got, on the offensive line, they got 2 building blocks who will be back in Stanback and Thompson. So again, you're always looking for pieces to build upon and continue to get better. Ramir Knock, who got valuable carries, he's only a soph. So again, the sky's the limit for that young man. There's going to be some holes to fill, but as every year, every graduation year, you lose great kids and great talent. Especially when you get to this point. And once you build a program, it's the next kid's turn.
When we talk about Paulsboro, on the other hand, we knew going in Holloway just how dangerous he was. There you see Glenn Howard being congratulated and some of the members of the Paulsboro staff. But of course, you and I talked about just how dangerous Kyle Jones could be. But for me, the player of the game, Joey Perez.
He was all over the field. Block punt, some great big time tackles, and obviously a very talented back. Perez was great today. And he 5'7", 155 pounds. But arguably played the biggest on the field.
And we also saw the play of the year. Kyle Jones extending a play, throwing the ball into the wind, and the diminutive one, Matt Petaniccio, all 5'6" of them, 140 pounds, caught it by the edge of his fingernail.
Right. So here we are talking about a 240-pound back. We're talking about, and arguably, you got Perez and Petaniccio, 2 guys that probably wrestle 119 pounds for them. That play came up big on a very big stage, and just now they got these lifetime memories from what they were able to accomplish tonight.
Right, you can see just how happy Coach Glenn Howard is, and well-deserved victory. Salem, a tremendous football team, tremendous football program. What a great game we had.
It is. You know what? I think Coach is even 3 years ago, he had to make a huge change, and he went to this spread offense. And when we started watching it, we're like, "Whoa! They're in no huddle. They're trying to run 70 plays a game. What's happening here?" Their traditional days were. So credit Coach Howard for evolving and saying, this is what our guys are. This is how we're going to put our kids in the best situation to be successful by going to spread, no huddle, 3x1, 2x2 sets, incorporating some Q run game other than their old option schemes that they would run. And now, since he did it, they've won 2 of the last 3 titles with this transition to spread. So congratulations to Coach Howard, all Paulsboro team, and their staff. It's definitely a community builder.
Well, again, Paulsboro comes back, wins the football game, dramatic fashion, tremendous effort on the part of these Red Raiders. This is a program steeped in tradition and history, and it will just continue with the effort tonight. Your final score, Paulsboro victorious 29-26. They are your Group 1 champions out of South Jersey. For my partner, Frank Delano, my director, Stan Ritter, and all the crew who were so brave in this cold weather, I'm Rob Chris. Thanks for joining us. Your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week, Paulsboro over Salem. They are your Group 1 champions.